Yeah, I was actually wondering whether we'd see a Rumble first pick, but Rumble and Volibear are the instant reply.
So Volibear going to go here again into the jungle probably for Beazelhan, and I think a new trick here for Reaper. We have not seen his Rumble yet, I don't think, but he's going to be playing that one most likely in the top lane. Although I guess they could give it to mid if they really want to. But we've seen such good Rumble play already this tournament.
For sure, and I mean, Meet Your Makers, they've picked up Misfortune here, obviously for the AoE control. What are they going to combine it with? You know, they've picked their AD carry and ostensibly their top or mid. Maybe a jungler coming out here?
Support instead, they're going to pick up their bottom lane here. So Tarek and Misfortune are going to go there for MYM. And now picks coming up for SKTT1. Seems like whenever it's open...
The Raven Twitch.
Yeah, whenever it's open, seems like Raven's like, yeah, I'll take this. And it's kind of impressive to me that he's taking this up against a pretty deadly lane here in Tarek Misfortune. Like, he knows what he's playing up against most likely. Twitch is pretty squishy. Like, he does great damage, and he's pretty good 1v1, but Misfortune also a well-known duelist, and especially with the Tarek in there. I mean, maybe they're planning to just lane swap it up. That would not surprise me in the least. SKTT1, they're pretty heavy on the lane swaps a lot of the time.
I think if they're planning to lane swap, they'll pick the support now. If they're not, I could even see them picking a mid here, and then just picking the correct support to help Twitch in a team fight, depending on how MYM, and look at this, a very defensive pickup, Nami here, that ultimate, the best disengage in the game, and fantastically strong against Misfortune, because if you tidal wave appropriately and can interrupt that bullet time with your ultimate, very strong.
Yeah, and Nami kind of finally seeing a little bit more play recently, and he's a pretty cool champion. I mean, even against Tarek, you can, if you line it up right, Aqua prison that Tarek before it can do any other damage, really. I mean, it's a hard peel to hit, but it's a pretty powerful peel when you hit people with that bubble. So I like Nami here from SKT1, that's cool. And as you said, certainly one of the best, if not the best, disengage in the game right now. And looks like MYM, Makata's going to take Mundo back into the jungle here. The Doctor is in, ladies and gentlemen, and Renekton is going to probably lock in.
Australia, you've demanded change.
And now I'm getting trolled by YouTube ad. That's okay, we fixed it. We fixed it. This is what I get for muting things instead of pausing them. It's all good.
This does confirm, though, we're going to see AP in Italy mid here.
Yes, it does. Because Renekton's going to be going up in the top. And as I said, with Mundo in the jungle there for MYM, that's definitely a Makata special, it seems like. And Jace here would be an intriguing pick to me.
Would certainly equalize the poke differential between the two. I mean, obviously AP in Italy, known for hitting their spears, known for that extreme poke. Jace is the AD equivalent.
I honestly just think Suna should play Lux again. It's so good. It works really well in this comp as well. I mean, it kind of works in everything. That's part of why it's so good. But no, we're going to have Jace. Maybe
mix it up.
Maybe they'll play Rumble mid. That would surprise me, actually. But yeah, I guess they'll mix it up here.
And you have to think the lane swap's coming out here. I mean, Nami's only real weakness is her laning. Her laning 1 to 6 can be very, very weak. Misfortune Tarek, like you identified, is a bully lane. So I would expect this hyper carry Twitch with, you know, mid to late game support and Nami to lane swap, and then Reaper to go 1v2 with a champion a little bit more tuned for 1v2 play than his Akali attempts last game.
Yes, and even though that did end up not mattering too much, I guess, in the end, because they did, of course, win that game up against CG. Yeah, Rumble's certainly suited to those lanes. It's not obvious that he's actually good in those spots, but it turns out that Rumble, he actually can hold his own perfectly fine in a 1v2 situation. I'm still really curious about this Jace pick there from SKT1. I guess I don't quite get it, like, because you're never going to outpoke Nidalee, and I almost feel like they just want to complement Rumble's ult a bit more, but I don't know, maybe I'm missing something.
I mean, the thing that Jace gives that Nidalee doesn't give is the engage-disengage. You know, you have that acceleration gate, speeds up your team and whichever direction you're going in, and of course accentuates your poke to a great, great extent. So with a Twitch on their team, I can definitely see the acceleration gate really helping out with positioning. I mean, Volibear, again, going to go for very strong engage. Acceleration gate helps out there. You're right in that it's usually not the shock blast that forces it back, much like the Nidalee Spear can, but definitely a champion tuned for poke. Definitely a counter poke pick. Yeah, they've equalized the poke potential.
Yeah, and a lot of this game, I think, for SKT is going to be controlling space, actually. And, you know, we mention this all the time when we see Rumble, but the way they comp works, I think they're going to be trying to kite the enemy team as a whole a lot with that Jace. So they're trying to get in and out. Nami, as you said, has a great disengage. And
To say great is an understatement, Page Time. That tidal wave is massive. It has about 2,600 cast range. It'll knock up and slow Renekton, Dr. Mundo, potentially Nidalee and Cougar Form are all going to try and close distance. Tarek as well, of course, because he wants to be at the front of a team. And if the tidal wave can slow or knock up, say, 2 of those, and then incidentally maybe stop the bullet time channel, one ability with that much potential, with that much upside, that's why Nami is seeing play here this tournament.
Yeah. I mean, I like the whole, like tidal waving a team and then splitting them up with Rumble's ult and then kind of getting in with Jace as everyone dives through the acceleration gate. Like, there's a lot of really interesting things that are happening with SK Telecom's team comp. I guess I'll just wait and see how they play it exactly and how their lanes work out. For MYM, they also have kind of a mishmash of champions here. I mean, they've got AP Nidalee, who is just poke queen, I think, is probably her title. She just pokes so hard. And Charo again going with teleport, which is not too bad on Nidalee, actually. Especially once you're in Cougar form, your counter ganking potential actually goes up pretty high. Makata's back on Mundo in the jungle. A good tank. Has a kind of a unique thing for a tanky jungler in that he's got a good poke as well with Infected Cleaver. But he's Mundo. He's pretty good at farming the jungle. He's a pretty good guy in general, and he'll tank a lot of damage. Renekton as well, also going to definitely be there in terms of tank line. And then they've got, Tarek that also gives them a lot of armor, which is definitely going to help them against Jace here, which makes the pick a little bit more interesting. But
I'm super intrigued by the red pop pickup from Makler here. I mean, whatever the case would be, whether it was a 2v1 lane or a 2v2, like it looks like it's going to shake out, Tarek MF is a bully lane. There's no early concerns about losing out to trades. I guess it's, a potential instant heal if everything goes horribly wrong and they have to deal with the Twitch poison damage, which can really add up in the early levels, that true damage. But I mean, with Nami there, Nami in early trades, unless she hits a miracle Q, is just never going to have that same presence as Tarek. Speaking of Tarek, however, he's gone for a walk.
Yeah, he's roaming right now as Libic. Just walk himself in the mid lane there.
And roaming Tarek, that might be a reason why we have a red buff, because it could be a 1v2 with red buff Misfortune.
Yeah, and looks like, whoa, Libic roamed all the way to red buff now, and Beezerhan's like, what's going on? Ward being
I just wanted to my red buff.
You're not going to get it this time. Makata's going to steal it away. So, this is flashbacks to Gambit before they were Gambit. Back when Gosu Pepper would run around when he was Gosu Pepper. And help his jungler counter jungle. This is going to be the extreme version. In fact, is there going to be a... Beezerhan's like, what's going on here? We're getting dove by roaming Tarek plus Mundo. Renekton
Remember, Meet Your Makers has to win this game to remain in the tournament. This is clearly something they practice. I mean, this is the same strategy that, of course, Dignitas famously had leaked against TSM. So, interesting. But here comes the pterodactyl on bottom. Red buff will be
trouble.
coming.
Exhaust comes in there as well, and that's going to be a dead Misfortune there. First blood goes out to Raven.
The red puff couldn't be the difference.
No, I mean,
and now the red buff is swapped over, and now Tarek has to head straight back because a Twitch with red buff, the lane presence is through the roof.
They might even get this tower actually before it even matters, and we could actually have Twitch do something that Twitch has not done for a while, and that's roam. I mean, we saw, I think it was Raven actually that made really creative use of ambush. Looks like Charlie in mid actually took a little bit of damage in there from Suno. And there goes the tower down bottom lane, so a huge advantage early on here for SKTT1.
And once they had the buff secured, it looked really good there. Oh, Ultimate has to flash away. It was looking really, really great for Meet Your Makers. It looked like they were going to make a play out of it, but to lose the buff that Misfortune had been donated and the turret, massive swing towards SKTT1.
And now Nami and Twitch, they're pretty comfortable here. They can roam off if they want to, but Misfortune already having trouble here. Those
are some Roman boots right there. Quick rush of boots too. We almost never see this in bot lane anymore.
Yeah, it's the Twitch, I assume. Yeah, he's got Berserker Greaves.
Usually we see a Doran's Blade, a Vamp Scepter, maybe just regular boots. We almost always don't see the boots 2 rush, so that does afford, some positioning, some potential roam ganking from Twitch.
Yeah, he's got a Doran's in there, so which I think he had to start with, which turned out to be really good at punishing Makler in this particular lane. Twitch here he's happy. He's a happy rat.
Well, for the duration of the red buff, Meet Your Makers cannot fight this lane.
Yeah. And Libic now taking quite a lot of damage. Starlast just poking there. Tyclaw's blessing's pretty good here. Ambush actually there from Raven. I think he cleansed off a stun there to try and get the kill. He's going in there, living very low there as the expunge goes off. Makata throws in Infected Cleaver, running in now with red buff himself. Starlight's got to be careful. Aqua Prison dodged out there as well, but the damage still massive as Eben Flow comes up there from Nami. Yeah, he is. Sooner around the side. Can he throw out the combo here? He might be able to get something done. It's be a pretty sweet sniper if he managed it. There's the kill into Makata. Finds it. There's the Thundering Blow after To the Skies. And a Dazzle not enough there for Tarek. Mundo already dead, and great roam in there from Suno. Making really good use
of... 2 red buffs back onto the SKT1 side.
And they've got to be happy about that. I mean, Jace, definitely known for his range, his poke, but if he needs to, he can switch in a hammer form, and, you know, when it's hammer time, you can really just bruise the people up. And Invisible Dragon is now being fought. SKT.
The level 3 jungler.
That's alright, he's Volibear. His passive will be totally
his passive
fine.
Will help out.
And Suno even going to trade tank here a little bit. In fact, looks like the passive doesn't want to be proc.
Wow.
Great steal! And Sharu there picks it up. And that was... Wow, I'm actually...
The problem was there, right, pastry time. Who's used to estimating the damage a level 3 smite does on Dragon?
No one?
I'm sure he was eyeballing. He might have been eyeballing there. He certainly wasn't thinking about the pressure. There was no ward over the side, but... Man, Meteor Makers needed that.
They did. And Sharu... potentially keeping their team in this game there with that steal. And the Needly Spear. I mean, Bizahan even, as he noted, he even smited Teleport coming down as well. Sharu wants to get in. He's in Cougar form. Starless could be in trouble. Pounces forward there, does Needly. And the Spear gonna just miss her into Starless. What a great juke out there as the Javelin Toss comes in. There's the Ebb and Flow for a bit of heal. Needs a Surge and Cuts, but Makata ready to slow him down. Sharu just missing the swipe there, but nails him with the takedown after that. And again, beautiful use of that Teleport there from the mid lane. And MYM, I mean, Sharu, he may have to put the team on his back here a little because he is really making some plays here.
Yeah, and Reaper's actually transitioned from top lane here to get some damage onto mid turret. Yes, they were suspecting a team fight coming out, but not needed. He's going to head back top. At the moment, the CS advantage, 8 CS up for Renekton. It didn't look like we saw that all in with Red Pot that we've been talking about all night.
No, Kubon actually really likes to save his Red Pot. He actually didn't the last game he played Renekton. He had his Red Pot from about 10-11 minutes and finally used it in a skirmish. So he seems to just like having it almost as insurance, I guess, and not so much to get really aggressive and get an early lane advantage. I mean,
heal bait.
Yeah, essentially a heal bait. With the added bonus of, you know, giving you a slightly groovy effect for the next few minutes as well. Sadly though, it's I guess not inbuilt like a summoner spell, but yeah, it is essentially just a heal bait.
Well, see, the reason why popping it at level 2 is so strong is it gives that flat 15 AD, whatever, irrespective of your level. You cannot buy that much AD with any other choice of items early, and you get the heal, and it's just, and it's, you know, it's an effective bait. It's one of those, as you said, the red hue, actually quite hard to see. There's so many facets to it for 250 gold that using it early can almost always win you trades. So that's why you usually see it. But you're right. I mean, if the obvious option doesn't come up, hold on to it. It could prove useful.
Yeah, it's just a second game in a row where Kubon's held on to it. But hey, if it works for him, it works. And Renekton's still going to trade pretty well, regardless. So they rumble now with some levels, and the Seeker's Arm got up especially. He's going to have a slightly easier time here in this lane up against Renekton.
Twitch here, looking very, very happy. Hasn't gone for any early assist. Oh, here we go. The Olin comes up top.
Yeah, finally Renekton wants to go in there. Kuban slashes in there. Equalizer down there for Reaper, but Kuban actually dodges it. He can't quite get equalized there, and now he's going for the tower dive. The Q comes out there as Coldemite goes on to Reaper, forced a flash out of there, and very smart play there from Kuban. Kept himself slightly forward of Reaper, so there was no real way for him to get equalized. And he
did decide to flash Q though, and his W was on a 1-second cooldown afterwards. Now we don't know for sure, but there may have been a chance to pick up a kill there.
Bizahan coming up now as well. Decides he doesn't really want to tangle with Kuban right now. He's pretty scary looking, and Reaper doesn't have that much health, so he'll just come into support and probably collect the CS if it pushes back into the turret here. Looks like Reaper is going back there, so he has escaped that 1v1. As Kuban did look to all in there.
Looks like Makate very well. Wow, they did have the ward timed here, so he has managed to sneak in completely unawares.
Yeah, and there's the stun coming out as well. Great Aqua Prison cancels bullet time, and Raven now invisible is going to be able to get out of this one as Ebb and Flow comes out from Starless. Could potentially be in trouble. Spray and pray they're activated from Raven, just trying to deter them, saying, "Hey, don't dive me. I'm going to kill you." And you said it. You said it before, Nami, man. She's a pretty good defensive support. That was a clutch Aqua Prison there. I think maybe half a tick of bullet time happened there, and that was it.
I say she's a good defensive support, but I'm mostly talking to her ultimate and the potential to use her Q as a CC after a setup CC, after a more reliable CC is used. In that case, that was just pure style and skill from Stylist.
Yeah, just timed that perfectly to fall down on Misfortune's head. And Raven just casually ambushed his way out of there. And then spray and prayed to make sure they wouldn't dive. So really, really exceptional play there from Stylist. And Nami, you know, you kind of have to make her work a little. As he said, she's got a kind of a weak landing phase, but you reap the benefits as a good Nami player for sure. In fact, it reminds me a lot of...
6 yet? No, not 6 yet.
Not quite. It actually reminds me a lot of Janna, in that your landing phase is a little bit crappy as Venom Cast comes down here for Raven, actually looking at maybe all in Livy, cleanses off the stun there, and it's Force Flash out of the Aqua Prison, but the Ebb and Flow actually does the damage there, and now Makla could be in trouble as well, but they're not going to quite run there. The Ghost actually activated there for Misfortune to get out of the way.
She definitely has a Janna-like laning phase.
Yes.
What I'd say is that her disengage and team fight a lot easier to be used aggressively than Janna. Janna usually needs to flash for repositioning, whereas this is a line nuke, almost like a Rumble ult that's
much wider.
Just even bigger.
Yeah,
much
a
wider,
really, really wide Rumble ult.
longer.
Kuban up and top, activates Dominus. Reaper struggling with the Flame Spitter there, trying to get a kill. I think he's waiting out the ult until it happens, but looks like we've got somebody in trouble. I'm not too sure. Actually, Mundo's up here as well, so Kuban now going to go back in onto Reaper. Makata with the Burning Agony going off.
Kite until his team arrives.
No, he can't quite. Probably kite enough. It's close though, and there's the teleport coming in for Sharu, which actually going to mean the SKTT1. The two of them that were up here going to have to get out there as well. So Sharu, nice teleport, essentially saves Renekton's life there from potentially being taken out by Volley or Jace. And he bought a lot of time there, did Reaper, but just not enough, unfortunately, at the end of it.
No, and they were smart to disengage. It's easy to get greedy and ignore a teleport, but even though it's Nidalee, even though she doesn't provide any tangible CC, she's an AP Nidalee. She has those heals, she has those spears. Much safer to disengage and choose another fight.
Yep. And right now, on the board, it's slightly ahead right now for SKTT1. It's 3-2 in kills with about 500 gold between these two teams, which is not all that much. It's just a slight lead here for the Koreans, but Poland
the bot lane is a little bit troubling, however, for me, because
yeah, that's probably the biggest discrepancy here. I mean, top lane's kind of going back and forth. Mid lane actually looking quite good for both of them, but Raven is just completely bullying Makler at this point as Twitch.
they were in position for Dragon. It suddenly looks a little bit more difficult when Makler's already at half health.
Yeah, just one little trade there from Twitch, and Twitch is definitely a carry that snowballs pretty effectively. Like, he scales into the late game very, very well. And he is a good duelist, but if Twitch is ahead, it's just so hard to fight him, because he's just very well equipped to 1v1 you.
Well, it's hard enough to fight Twitch when he doesn't have the ultimate disengage support in Nami to help him out. I mean, potential for 4 seconds slow and a knock-up from that ultimate. So many people trying to close the distance on this Twitch. Twitch being ahead is just an absolute pearl in this comp.
Yep. I mean, you get the on-hit slow as well for Twitch with Tycole's Blessing, so he had a lot of cool stuff out of Nami. But as you said, that tidal wave just ultimate protection for the rat. And the one thing Twitch needs is to be in the right place at the right time. That's what ambushes was for, has always been for. But if you have your teammates to help you out as well, you can just stand there with spray and pray on and just dish out the damage. And that's ideally what you want to be doing. You want to be attacking for the entire duration of your ultimate and then some. Renekton up in top now. Kuban just returning to lane. We've seen this a lot in this matchup, but Hex Drinker seems to be the very popular choice here against Rumbles. And Seeker's Arm Guard, I guess, is kind of the equivalent item coming up for Reaper.
Yep. But I guess the only difference being that Hex Drinker kind of
builds
tidal
wave missing there in the bottom lane. Beazelhan was there to set up for the gank. The Venom Caster out onto Libic. Spray and pray activated. Great Aqua Prison into Majestic Roller, and there's the Rolling Thunder back in as Libic just can't really go anywhere. Spray and pray plus Expunge picks up Libic in there as well. And Raven, yet another kill down in bottom lane. 2-0-2 right now for the Rat. And the problems are growing here in bottom lane, unfortunately.
He's just too comfortable on this Twitch page time. I don't think you can give it to him. It's kind of like on the mainstream they're talking about giving Shy a Singed. Or they've definitely lost games when Shy's played Singed, but he's so comfortable on that champion. He knows its limits. He knows the matchups. Why give it to him? And that's how it's felt with Raven here. As whenever he plays Twitch, he just tends to run wild.
Oh wow, he has a 15-minute Infinity Edge as well. That is really, really scary. I mean, we talk about rushing Infinity Edge as being good because the items, it's quite expensive, doesn't transition as well as Bloodthirster, but we don't really see this when we talk about rushing Infinity Edge, but
when we say rushing Infinity Edge, we think of the 19-minute Infinity Edge, and before 20 you're like, wow, he's done really well.
Oh man, Shara's completely dead here. I think Venom Cast coming out, flung back in there as well as Rolling Thunder. Great flash out from Shara over the top. The Q just missing in there, and Starlast probably going to be able to find him. Nailed by the Aqua Prison there. And Beazelhan picks the kill up after to the skies there from Jace. And Starlast is just, I mean, SKT1's bottom lane. You know, we talked about mid.
Do we know that for Starlast it's not a targeted ability, that Q?
I don't know.
Doesn't miss too many.
No. Maybe he's cheating. Or maybe he's just a really good Nami player. Raven here going to get dazzled. Acceleration, get everyone out. Hack Offers, and they're going to cover the escape. Equalizer going down there as well, but SKT1, I think they just want this turret here if they can get it. Makler trying to set up for his ultimate, and he throws it out to Beetlehunt quite low there from the bullet time, and Kubun's going to pick that one up. Now Makata chasing in there, throwing out their cleavers. The dazzle out onto Reaper as Aqua Prison goes down, but Nami, I mean, doesn't have her ultimate. Still pretty good at peeling people off. And SKT1 managed to escape with only one kill there. Or only one death there, I should say.
My computer's subtly dying in the background, but thankfully the stream working just fine.
That is good. Hopefully it'll be okay. It seems to be now. Or is your computer still dying? It could
No,
still
no,
be.
I'm keeping together.
Alright, okay. Let me know if it explodes, or I guess you can't tell me. But it's okay, I'm sure we'll notice. Looks like defense coming out now for SKT1. They want to make sure this turret doesn't go down. Starlast eats a javelin toss to the face. And Spray and Pray again activated. Oh my goodness, Makler is low. Kubon dives in though. Tied away for Starlast though. Gets him out of the way. And perfect example of how good that ultimate can be in a disengage. Lubick going to get killed there as well. Twitch actually getting that kill there. Rumble picking up Renekton in there as well. And Makler did actually go down there towards the end. For a 3-0 there under that turret. Asuno takes a spear to the face. And as you called it, Papa, Starlast's ultimate just completely clutched there in that dive.
I have to wonder, does the Starcore's Blessing apply the slow on Twitch's ultimate on the Spray and Pray?
I think so.
Does it apply the slow in a line is what I'm wondering. I imagine it must do.
I think so, because it's...
Spray and Pray applies
on hit effects.
On hit effects.
Yeah. So it must. Which means it would AoE slow, right?
Yep, that sounds pretty devastating. It's only 3 attacks, but when it comes to a Twitch with Infinity Edge, you don't need much more than 3.
Yeah, I was going to say it does have like a cap on it attack-wise, but it's almost better that way, actually. Because normally it's just, normally it's just one person, alright? I guess if you individually attack 3 people, you can slow multiple people, but that doesn't sound all that good. But yeah, the fact that it works with Spray and Pray, we assume it does anyway. I mean, correct us if we're wrong, but... I
just feel like people have tunneled too hard on Nami's problems. Like, she doesn't have a strong laning phase, but then again, you know, Janna's the same. That's one of the reasons we don't see Janna, apart from the chain nerfs on her, but... Yes, she has a weaker than average laning phase. Yes, Tycho's Blessing only applies to 3 attacks, but her disengage is incredible. And when that Tycho's Blessing works, it works pretty damn well.
And the thing about that skill is, it also procs her passive as Makler here could be in trouble. Actually hits into the Aqua Prison, but no one really there to follow up. The Venom Cast on Long Range going to follow up. Rolling Thunder after Majestic Roar will come in there for Volibear.
And you sounded surprised that time. I wasn't surprised anymore.
Well, it looked like she was going to juke it, and she walked back into it. And I was like, well, I guess it's a targeted ability now, so... Of course I wasn't going to miss. I guess that's why you weren't surprised. You knew. Starlast just has it always aimed in the right spot.
And we thought Lasha was the king of Nami with all his fantastic play yesterday. Starlast giving him a run for his money.
Yeah, pretty good one as well. Now we're going to have a push down the bottom as 3 people from SKT. 4 actually as Beazelhan reveals himself around the side of the trees. And they're going to get that turret. Reaper just casually walking back. He has blue buff somehow. I think he took
it. feels like SKT1 are running over this game, but it's important to note only a 4K gold advantage. We're only at 20 minutes, but yeah. You kind of fear for MYM at this point.
Yeah, it's not so much the gold difference. It's just... I mean, bottom lane, as you already identified, being a problem, but just... There's so much momentum here for SK Telecom, you know, and they're keeping control of the map. They're slowly pushing out. I mean, they're going to increase their gold lead slowly but surely, but you do have to be careful here for MYM that you don't want to fall further behind than this. You know, you need to start catching up. Because if this keeps happening, obviously the goal difference will just grow to a point where it is almost unwinnable for MYM. But they should, you know, feel confident here. They're not out of it, but, I mean, that Twitch is just unbelievably fed. If we look at the gold actually tabbing across...
2,200 gold lead here for Twitch.
Which is...
2,500 now, sorry.
Which is a massive, massive difference between AD carries. I mean, And AD, you know, the reason they have a partner, they have a support, is that they are the most item-reliant member of your team. You know, they need to be doing a lot of sustained right-click damage, and to do that, you need items. And when you're 2,500 gold behind on items as an AD, you're doing significantly less than the other guy.
See, the ironic thing here, Pastry Time, is I'm okay with the Bloodthirster versus Infinity Edge, and now it's going to be static shift pickup. Because Misfortune, again, mostly known for our ultimate damage, the issue I actually have here, to compound the very obvious disadvantage in items there, is that these tanks aren't strong enough to get through the tidal wave and survive. They're not tanky enough to deal with the incidental damage or the spray and pay damage that they will have to get through to get to this Twitch. And it's that issue of being able to close space against an army. I mean, it's not just Misfortune that needs to be strong here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the game is still early here in SK Telecom. We've already carved themselves a few thousand gold in the lead. I mean, Twitch has a lot of the gold on his team, and he's doing silly damage. I mean, it's just kind of the nature of the game that unless you're really far ahead,
he's going in, Pastry Time. Yeah. He's thinking about it.
Aqua Prison hits in. Managed to catch somebody. Raven, they're throwing out the Venom Cust, and Tidal Wave goes out as well. Beazelhunt flashes Shara and flips him back into the team. He gets bullet time though to the face though, and does go down there as Renekton picks up that kill. Still following in though, Asuna Wing with a Thundering Blow. Great Aqua Prison. Nails Misfortune in there as well, as Kublon's going to go down now with Suno picking up that kill. And Makata now has to runs out of the way. Libic has legged it as well behind the tier 2 turret, which they'll quickly lose here as well.
They love the world stage, don't they, SKTT1?
They really do. Every time they rock up, I mean, it's almost like they're the LAN team or something. It seems that whenever they show up to a LAN, whenever they show up to an offline
maybe
event,
they're the TSM of Korea.
Maybe.
They always, well, I mean, let's talk about the Season 2 TSM. Obviously, TSM have their problems more recently, but they were famous for stomping their own scene, but having no problems, having so many problems with foreign scenes that they just couldn't beat Korean teams. It's almost a reverse, I guess a reverse TSM here, in that they really can't handle their own scene recently, but damn do they travel well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, their own scene is pretty darn competitive, but I know
That's
it's just...
not to say that the NA scene isn't.
No, that's true. But Korea is... Okay, sure. I'll shut up before I put my foot in my mouth again. But yeah, you're right. They do seem to travel very well.
It's just amazing to see the difference in their play, because they're never in positions like this in the Stars War League, for example.
No. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the magic of Germany. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you exactly what the difference is here, but what I can tell you is that, as you've noted, the level of play that they bring to offline events versus when we've seen them online is just almost night and day. It is almost completely different. And they're looking to actually potentially secure their spot here. I mean, we don't know for sure if they'll get through. As Mackley is just going to get obliterated. Ow, it hurts. Twitch is so painful. I don't even know what to say anymore. That was just brutality. Poor Mackley, he's trying to get farm, but I mean, what are you to do? All Twitch has to do is rock up invisible. If you're alone, you're dead.
I think Mackley's made an important adjustment to his build here. He's only going for ult damage now. He wants that last whisper just so he can at least be an ult bot in team fights.
Yep. Which, kind of like we talked about last game, when Reaper was behind, he built accordingly. I mean, you don't want to be behind as an AD carry, but these things happen. Dazzle there coming out onto Raven. He does not cleanse it off there. Tidal Wave coming in from Na'Vi there. Libic going to take the damage in there as well. Rolling Thunder over the top, but they flip him back in. And Suna going to pick up that kill as the equalizer go out as well. They try to re-engage, but SKT will be happy with the kill here. There's the ult coming out from Misfortune as the bullet time goes off. Beazelhunt pretty low here, but Nami trying to peel them off there as Suna picks up another kill. And Raven gets the turret in there as well. They'll pick up the inhibitor. 2 for 0 there in that team fight. And counting now for structures as well. This is going to be the second inhibitor here for SKTT1. And really, the one Twitch just got a bit carried away here, and it doesn't seem like there's anything MYM can do at this point. They're almost 10,000 gold behind.
Yeah, it looks like SKT1 will make their own destiny here, and unfortunately, it looks like Meet Your Makers. It looks like they won't be qualifying.
No. I mean, as I said, I don't know if this gets SKT1 through if they win this game, but we do know that it does not get MYM through, unfortunately.
Well, the issue will be there are 3 people who have 3 wins after this game, and MYM will be 1 and 3, so
Oh,
they won't be
Mackler
able to
again.
get there.
This is just cruel now. Raven making good use of that ambush there, and I think that adequately describes what's happening to Mackler here in this bottom lane when he goes out to farm. He is getting ambushed, and Twitch is just...
It's not like Misfortune's worth a dramatic amount of gold here. I think it's just to keep her away from farm.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost psychological too, right? Raven's like, hey, look, I'm winning, I'm beating you. Let me just kill you again.
Now, with this pickup, you know, the eventual Blade of the Ruined King coming out here, I think that has to confirm that Spray and Pray applies on hit effects.
It does, right? Does it say in the tool too? I guess not. No, it does not. Oh, the thing is though, it's actually a basic attack modifier. Here's up in the top lane, Kubon's going to go down to a 4-man gank. Even
The outer turret from top
oh my
actually
goodness,
still standing.
Sharu just gets melted. Raven just, he's embodying the gangster of Gangster Twitch right now. He is living the thug life. He just doesn't care. Waddling his way into Baron. But yeah, as I said, Spray and Pray it actually modifies Twitch's basic attack, so they just become long line ranged, beastly looking spears of justice. So he's still attacking normally, it's just that the way his attack works changes. So I'm pretty sure it applies all on hit effects, just like any other basic attack would.
I'm almost 100% sure too. I just don't want to put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a very unique skill, actually.
And Ryan has had a historically terrible time trying to balance. I think it's in a good spot now, especially with the damage falling down. You know, the minimum damage of 40, so the damage falling down to further away targets. Just because it used to be just a naked Infinity Edge, and Twitch could crit a team down.
Yeah, that was. I remember those times. Abris Blade, Executioner's calling Twitch. It hurt. It hurt a lot.
Twitch has picked up the Blade of the Ruined King here. Just to reiterate, this is indeed patch 302, the Thresh release patch. So this is Blade of the Ruined King, which has an active that scales off AD and does not provide any attack speed and no executability.
What he will be doing though is damage to everybody, and lots of it. If you got high health, he'll do damage. If you got no health, he'll just crit you, and he's going to do a combination of both those things in every attack. So if Twitch is damage,
and he knows there's precisely zero chance that the enemy team will be able to close onto him.
Yeah, and he also knows that he can kill absolutely anybody. Everyone is butter. Delicious buttery.
Thinking about a triple, a 1v3 here.
Yeah, I mean, he's going in. Libic, they're going to take some damage. Dazzle off the cleanse, and the damage is coming in. Oh my goodness, Raven. Just nothing but style here from Raven this game. Putting the carry in carry.
I think the Twitch poison might have killed Misfortune as well, and that
I think you're right.
That is scary.
Behind us tanking the turret there for his team as the minions come in. I think at this point it's all style right for SKTT1. Kuban here taking a lot of damage. The Electro Harpoon going in there. And it's the Dominus before a tick of poison can kill him. But sadly, Mundo is not so lucky. And the legendary rat. 9-0-12 here for Raven. SKTT1 3-1 now at the Intel Extreme Masters Group B.
And that's the last we'll see of Raven playing Twitch this tournament.
You'd certainly